Alright everybody, welcome to the Filmmakers Roundtable. The shutters are shut and courtesy of Sham Corners, we would like to thank Sham's aunt.
Hey, thank you. Hey, you're welcome, you're welcome.
Welcome everybody. Alright, first off, thank you very much everyone for being here today. Can we just introduce ourselves real quick? Sham, you can start first.
Hi, my name is Shamsul Bahari and I am a filmmaker and I work as a video editor full time, but on the side I play music and do some short films here and there.
Hi guys, I'm Jake and I'm a freelance video director and just like Sham, I also try to do some short films here and there.
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Farhan. Full time I make games, I guess. But on the side I do short films when I have the time and money lah.
I'm Burp. I make animations on the side, but my full-time job is to make commercials. I like to do things that help my ADHD focus.
Hi, I'm Kimberly and I'm a writer based in Singapore.
Hi, my name is Sanif Oleg. I'm a filmmaker. My full-time job is making TV programs, documentary and dramas. And on my spare time, I look at people.
Fantastic. Okay, so we are all gathered here today because we kind of want to get to know you all a little bit better, especially after we had our first Singapore indie film screening. We kind of want to know who you guys are, especially those who didn't get to go to the we had so many questions from the other people who didn't get to go. So, question. What were you like before filmmaking entered your life?
Had more money.
What you say?
That's what everyone would say. Had more money.
Had more money before film. Yeah.
Right.
I had a hope. No, for me, I was actually started when I went at IT. I was in heavy automotive, and I actually worked in SD Kinetics for 3 months, and I feel that that's not my thing. So that's where after I went NS, I actually dabbled into this media thing because my neighboring signal company, a lot of them have to cover the SAF events. So they didn't. So a lot of the media students were from that group, right? SAE lah, SP lah, YP all like, wow, they whole game like cool lah. That's kind of interesting. But then after that, when I'm out, that's where I realized, shit, this school are expensive. So I actually went ITE for that course, for video and audio video production, I guess. Yeah. So before that, I was actually even like apply for culinary arts in Shatec too. I actually love cooking lah, by the way.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
What's the food, bro?
Chef Fun, yeah.
All in favor for those who say that the next round table at Farhan's house so you can cook for us, raise your hands.
Yeah.
Bye, bro. Thank you. Okay, thanks, man. Makasih. Thank you. Jake, tell us, what were what was your life before we all had more money?
I think like this whole filmmaking thing only became a reality to me through poly. But before that, I was just in school and just watching a lot of movies. My parents would rent DVDs all the time. I would use my mom's phone as a kid to shoot random short skits and then like edit. So maybe like last time phones you could like pause, right?
Yeah.
You can film and then pause. So that would be the cut. So I film like it's something that I pause and I film myself talking, pause, go to the other angle and film myself talking. So
Yeah.
there's a conversation like between like two clones of myself. So that's what I used to do a lot. Yeah, as a kid. Yeah. So I guess it started from there.
Alright, so when I was younger, this is video game called Sims 2.
Yeah.
Just number 2. So actually I used to enjoy recording storylines with them, and then I will actually edit and like make dramatic stories. Like if you go on YouTube and you search like a song title, like Helena by My Chemical Romance, they will make all those
Like fan
dramatic
edits.
edits. Yeah, and I really love doing those things. So I thought it was kind of a step into filmmaking. So actually I went to Neon Poly for visual effects, but I knew that I wanted to lean more into the filmmaking side of media. So after I graduated from Poly, I went to LaSalle for the film degree. Yeah, and I guess this is what I've been doing. Yeah.
For me, I think I went to film school with this idea that I want to be a director or filmmaker someday. But then again, when I graduated, right, reality struck. You need to pay the bills, right?
Yeah.
So I actually applied for 30 jobs cold. This was in late 90s lah. Out of the 30 emails, or rather snail mails, right? This company from at the east called me up, and whether if I'm keen to do the job lah, to work for them. I need a job to pay the bills and all that. So I was like, I'm just gonna take the first job that come my way. So that's what I did. The filmmaking thing, right, came in I think only about 10 years later, and it was also a time when I think there wasn't any in Singapore. There wasn't any films about the Malay narrative, the local Malay narrative. This was in 2000 in 2K lah, during 2K. So I thought, okay, my intention to do the film is purely just to give a tribute to my dad, right? So the film was made, and so I started to film festivals, and it was quite well received lah. The film is called Loso. And then one thing which I realized that when I traveled with the films, right, people were like, oh, there's actually a Malay language people who speak Malay in Singapore. Prior to that, it was okay when there's films in Malay, right? There's the Malaysian from Malaysia and Indonesia, so they were not really aware that there are in Singapore people speak Malay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about these people are from Europe and US and those continents, like those bigger continents. So I was quite surprised when I heard that when I traveled in the festivals. So somehow that spurred me to deliberately make more Malay films so that I can reach out to these people, and hopefully my Malay language Singapore films can travel to all this, and find myself a niche lah,
Representation.
Yeah, representation. Yeah, correct. So that's what I did.
For me, before that, I was a kid also, same as Jake, maybe even younger, no offense. But then for me, why I got into this is because I grew up in China. I was there for like 7 years, and there we have the Great Wall, the Great Firewall. So we had no YouTube, we had no Facebook, no social media. And then when I attended school and when I was forced to go to Sunday school also, it was like 3 hours of boredom. And with like my mild ADHD, I couldn't sit still, I keep like scribbling. But I think one moment I still remember, like they call it the canon event, was when I was in Sunday school. I was bored out of my mind. I asked my dad to draw me a Bugs Bunny, and then he drew it. It was like bad, and then I cried. I got so angry. And then I was like, I need to do something about this. Then I kept drawing over like after that, since like Sunday school, which was primary school level, and then middle school, then high school, and then finally when I got to Sec 4, the JAE, I actually chose like business and science and law as my top 3, because I thought like, I just choose the optimal Singaporean route and just earn the money, settle down. But then on the whim, on the last day before the submissions of our JAE, I went to look at the Ngee Ann, I don't know if I should promote that, but Ngee Ann Poly's animation school, now is AI school. But like, it's called AI now. But I went back, last month.
Wow. Wait, you serious? It's still AI?
In school, AI now.
Is it under FMS?
No, it's ICT. It used to be ICT A3DA. FMS had their VFX thing. Yeah. So I think that's still a thing, but much lesser people. But anyways, that's the one I applied to on my last day, because when I went in, I realized that I saw them drawing on the corner and people doing these 3D things. I was like, oh, I can finally do my Bugs Bunny properly. But after that, I got in because I wanted to draw and I wanted to do stop motion because I really like those like Laika stop mo films. But after 3 years of poly, I realized those are the things I'm the worst at. I can't draw, I can't do stop mo. So I gave up on the Bugs Bunny and I moved to 3D stuff, and from there it's history. I started making more and more 3D films. And then now I do that as a living as well.
Question, do you still draw Bugs Bunny as
I don't really like Bugs Bunny that much. I was just angry that my dad can't draw, and it's like, is this genetics?
Now that you like compare.
Show it back to him, look, it's best made dog.
Come on, yeah.
I don't know whether it's considered filmmaking, but like the first hint of it was when I was still a kid also. Like,
Younger.
younger.
the younger?
I had to come out the womb. I don't know what I'm thinking about. But it was the concept of like creating something out of nothing. During secondary school, me and my friends, we like to do a lot of like jackass stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, so the idea of camera phone, doing something very stupid, just videoing it. So that was like part of it. Everybody video, but I was the one that kind of like put it together. So it's kind of like
mine lah.
yeah, it's kind of like that.
Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, like hi, my name. So we did a lot of that, but there was one project I would still kind of like call it like my first short film. Was I did like a little tribute to the whole class, but it was like whole class, but for the fun people lah. So we kind of
So
like
like almost the whole class.
almost the whole class. There was a lot of bullying involved.
Yeah,
People like made fun of each other, so we kind of like had inside jokes. But that's like on YouTube. That was like my first ever video. When I did that, it was like quite fun, you know. And then it's kind of like it became something that I went back to, like whether I do filmmaking or whatnot. It's about creating something out of nothing. So I actually went to NAFA after my secondary school. I went to NYP's. Like I was supposed to enroll in NYP for manufacturing engineering.
Okay.
I was at the what do you call it? Like there's an escalator, there's a registration place. I got my queue number. Then like screw that, and I just left without any plan. So that was very scary, because I have a history of like ghosting. So that is like the biggest ghost I've ever did, and I thought that was like pretty cool on my end. Like if it happened, like looking back, that kind of like domino into.
You wanna
like,
talk about it?
Close, yeah. I should go to NYP. Like so sorry. But yeah, I think it's because of that I took chances.
Do you still do stupid stuff and capture it on phone?
I still try lesser stupid stuff.
Oh,
But nowadays, like with Instagram like stories,
yeah.
and then now like I love like editing it into like a monthly thing.
Oh.
It's like all the stuff that I captured.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but now it's a bit more tame. Yeah, if not it'll be like parental guidance.
If you are not doing filmmaking, what would you guys be doing?
McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
No, I
I'm
don't know. But anything just to make money to make the films. Too simple.
yeah.
I think for me, right, I would have been in OBS. Yeah, if I haven't been in film, right, I would have been in something outdoor or something. Oh, wait, I forgot to also share because on the process of getting into film school, right, I actually went through the second stage of SQ steward.
Wow.
So because most of my friends after NS, right, they went to SQ. They were like, this was like the cool thing. So for those people who cannot go NUS, right, either sign on or go steward. But then again, things happened because what happened was okay. This is another long story. So this is after the second interview, right? So my friends in Ngee Ann Poly, they invited our mutual friends to go swimming, right? After we finished swimming, and then we were walking down the atrium, the Ngee Ann Poly atrium, right? There's this thing, exhibition, I think joint admissions exercise, and there was this booth called Film, Sound and Video. I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I signed on. So I signed on the course, and then I went through the whole interview and the whole thing. So okay, this was the crucial moment. Okay, do I want to make films or do I want to fly around the world? So I thought, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna make films.
What are y'all gonna do if you wanna
Fun
do
chef.
Fun
chef.
Y'all wanna go Van's house to eat? Who is the dress? He stayed.
I think the question is, what dish would you? What is your signature
You're
dish?
not filming.
Yeah. Like films got genre now. So what's your?
Sotong speed. Honestly, I can't think of any. But I mean, if I were to not be in the film industry, most probably I'll be doing like plumbing, carpentry, that kind of thing. Because my late father, he's the blue collar kind of guy, technician. So he always he always fix stuff at home. So most probably that's the most ideal if I'm not into the filmmaking world. I think because of him supporting me throughout my life, he support what I like. I think I went to art school because of this. Yeah. I mean on that note also, because I honestly I'm not very technical kind of person. I think a father that comes from the industrial era, right? makes me hard to work in freelance. Every time I look for a creative job, they have to be full time.
Yeah, I think it comes down to be practical. I think for most of us who come from the blue collar background, it's like, I think from at least from my own experience, right? I think people were like, okay, when you get the job, does this make money? Is it going to sustain you for life? I think that's the most concerning things about parents back then, or maybe even now.
I agree.
So I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
So for us, I think naturally we sort of like, okay, the job has to pay full time.
Yes, I agree. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, like, I want to be the greatest DP ever in Singapore. What you did like this, I cannot say. But then, come to think of it, full-time job, sustain, pay the bills. I need that, and also last time I had this friend of mine. We were quite close. I like the way how she thinks. So, just work 9 to 5 but then 5 to 9 is my time. Then like suddenly that changed my brain chemistry. I was like, I like start to think about we play music together, mending or some stuff. But if go back to that question, most probably I'll be doing blue collar jobs, like plumbing and stuff. And look, I think that industry is blooming. It is booming right now because of AI. Nobody wants to.
Cannot replace.
Cannot replace.
You kind of foresee that like all the blue collar jobs are gonna like progress. How you gonna do that? We're gonna type a prompt to like build a table.
Repair my aircon, please.
Whatever pays the bills, whatever gets you the money for your film, make your own fun.
I think for me, I'll be like like those like product designers, like seeing the CAD drawers. Yeah. I remember in like 2006, I saw the advertisement for reflections at Keppel Bay.
Yeah.
Then I remember like thinking like, whoa, it's like curved kind of building, and then I thought like, then I started drawing a lot of like lamps and like my iPod, that kind of thing, right? Then I think, I'm gonna be an architect or like a product designer kind of thing. So it's either that or like, or like video related stuff. Then I went down that route.
I think for me, I'm lucky enough to still have a place somewhat in the literary community in Singapore. So I still write short fiction, poetry, and working towards getting my novel published. It's a long process on its own, but that's for another time.
We want to know.
I'm still trying,
Okay, no, but you're looking for a publisher.
Yes.
What's this novel about?
Well, I mean, I feel like the things I write are very much focused on like youth, nostalgia. So this is about a story set in 2013, based on the protagonist's final year of secondary school, and all those kind of like final year of school, the kind of like yearning, things you discover about yourself. All those things are in this story that I want to publish about. But on a less serious note, I think it'll be fun to stream games.
Well, what kind of stream? Like, what game do you play?
I play Overwatch, and right now there's Marvel Rivals.
Oh
I just like to clip like silly stuff, memes, and just like piece it together just for fun. But I think that's just for when I have time.
It's quite nice that you went from, was it clipping, what was the game before? Sim 2. And then now it's like
Overwatch.
It's just brain rot now.
I remember somebody did like a Twilight remake of like, but they used MapleStory characters.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there was a famous one.
It's edited to a song by Simple Plan, right?
A lot. That era, there's like a lot of like music videos.
Yeah.
Just to jump in on that, actually, one of my where I work to make games, right? My first time meeting with my cinematic director back in Quebec. Surprisingly, he started his career as a cinematic director. He started by use animation like in game, and I think World of Warcraft. I think if I'm not wrong. And there's a competition in Canada where they just made their own kind of videos. He won, and back then the cinematics in games is like very like doesn't like and because of he won that competition, right? He started his career there. That's so interesting. So it's very interesting. Like, I mean, on top of that also like Paranormal Activity. You all know, right? No. Basically, I was surprised that Paranormal Activity, the filmmakers are game designers. wow, the way how they see visuals is different from how, right?
Conventional. What would I do if I'm not doing? I think I feel like I will still do like something related to it. Because like on my end,
But you have a band though, no?
yeah, like
Plug it.
we lah, we unplug.
Listen to Shama.
And that's the thing, is like how I see myself doing like all these like films, music. It's my goal is like not to I want to be like the best filmmaker or the best musician or whatnot. It's just an outlet for me to like express myself. So like if I'm not doing film, then I probably do something else and maybe figure out film later on. So like right now it's more of like for music, like me and Farhan, we were in a different band before that. But it wasn't until like the Circle Kid era where I started to like, hey guys, I got a song. Because before that I was so shy. I never like express myself. So like filmmaking is probably just one of it. Yeah. So if I didn't do it, I'll still be an audience member. I think that might be fun. Like without knowing the stress of being a filmmaker. So
Stress of being a film.
yeah, right. Like if only I could like
That's
pick up
true,
the part
that's
and it just be an audience. You know, but I don't know whether we are like burdened with it or we're gifted with it. But the fact that we like doing films.
I got a question for that. Do you ever feel like you're trapped? Like your love for film and your want to like continue always
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for me because I'm primarily a scriptwriter. So actually, the film that I showed at the film fest last December was one of the only few things I directed. So I feel like it's very hard to get my stories across because I think most festivals or like pitch labs, they're mainly looking for director-centric works, and I don't have the proper credentials as well. So I feel like it's a bit hard for me as someone who's just a scriptwriter, because I don't have someone to tie to. I'm on my own, and of course, like now AI is also taking over. Yeah.
That's why you choose books, and you can use AI to make your stuff into. You can make it in Sims as well.
Well, since you already directed something, that means you're already a director.
Yeah, it's
Just gotta claim it.
It's like some people can only talk about it, but at least I mean between us, I think we have done something, so something to talk about.
I do not know whether if I feel trapped or not. To be honest, the last film that we watched during the 27th December, that was kind of not my last film, the first film after a very long time. I don't know. We as filmmakers, I think we like to watch films, right? But then when we make films, because we are inspired and motivated by the films that we love. But then again, to me, the point that I'm getting is that I'm afraid that I'm making a replica of the films that I love. And also I have imposter syndrome. I think it's common among us.
I think for me, the idea of feeling trapped, in the sense that, because I think when I first started, right, I was struggling to write what are the kind of films that I want to make, what are the kind of films that say Sunny Bollywood, what kind of films do I want to make. But then again, throughout that whole process, right, there's a lot of things which happen in my own community which I felt that I need to say it out in a nice way. I mean, coming from television, right? So, and coming from television, there's a lot of source material that I can tap on, which I felt that we could have extended more on the issues and the drama, but because of the parameters, you cannot really go into that. But then again, you know what? I'm just gonna do that on my films. So that's what I did. So again, there's this thing, struggle of telling your personal stories, of being personal, let the whole world know about who you are, or you wanna empower yourself, you want to get represented on screen, you know. So yeah, so that's basically my struggle. You know, after all, when you want to make films, you want people to watch your films, right? So I think coming from a commercial television background, you sort of like have that training where you sort of like toe the line between art and storytelling and commercial. Yeah, so I think that's the struggle which I went through in the earlier part lah. But then again, I think right now I kind of like, you know, with all the things that's happening in Singapore and all that, so I think I've come to the point where I think, you know what, I'm just going to make my films based on the Malay community, but not necessarily about the Malay people, but it's Malay people, Singapore stories, but based on the Malay context.
So now not trapped, but last time yes, because I think it's a lot of you convey the same sentiment where I think back then I wanted to draw but I couldn't, so I felt trapped in that way. And then when I went to go to school, I realized I didn't have the talent for it as well, because animation is quite talent heavy. Then I tried to dabble in filmmaking. That's why I respect you guys a lot, because I couldn't do it. Like, animation is just animation, but when I went to do my film modules, it's like, wow, you need to check the weather as well. You need to know when golden hour is. In like Maya, I can just like set the color. And casting is another thing. I can choose my actors, I can model them from the bone to the skin, but choosing a perfect actor with personality and hair color, all that. So I felt trapped in that way. I can't do live action. And like recently I talked to I think Anthony Chen, the Ilo guy. I really agree with what he says about like when you don't have craftsmanships, when you don't know what you're doing, it can be very ambiguous. So whatever you do, it's very important to have this craftsmanship. And once you have that, you tend to be like comfortable, you know what you're doing, and then you don't really feel that trapped. Like, and what you show your audience as well, because when they watch it, they know the director knows what they're doing, they know the director has the direction, the clarity, then they enjoy it. So I think when I found like my path that I was good at, I think that I managed to get out of that trapped box. And now with everyone talking about AI, I think it's the same thing. Like when Toy Story came out, all the 2D animators who did Snow White and Cinderella, like, oh damn, artists did. But yeah, it's the same thing again with like cars and horses and painters and photographers. I think this new AI era could be a new way to figure things out and get out of that trap feeling that, at least in my artist sector, I see a lot of people feeling this entrapment.
I hope all the other artists are also hearing this. That's a great, the artists that are tuning in and watching and hearing this.
Yeah, I guess it's important for us to find our niche, our voice, our own voice, and what we're comfortable with. You know, like what you quoted Anthony Chen from. I mean, you need to have you find your voice and then make sure you are expert in that field and stuff, and find your craftsmanship there. So I think that's the and then that's when it becomes believable in what people see.
For me, just finding the voice as a filmmaker, because like what like Sunny said, it was, you need to do stories that you know, right? And for me, like, there's only like one traumatic experience in my life. Other than that, it's just like a pretty it's a pretty like average, like, no.
You want more?
So I find myself like I can't keep making films about that one occasion, you know. I need to live more life and interact with more people, and because if it's just like an average Chinese Singaporean life, there's not much story there that people want to watch. It's like a struggle.
What I learned is that yes, we can tell from Malay stories, but Malay stories, there's a lot of stories. I mean, you can tell stories about the community in the mosque, right? And then you can talk about the LGBT Malays, you know, you can talk about the
You can talk about food battles as well.
food battles as well.
Never ending.
But not only food, you know, it's like because one nasi padang stall can be different from the next nasi padang stall. So so those kind of Malay stories. So I think there's like so
Very good point. Yeah. But what is the Chinese Singaporean story? How much is our Thai though?
Yeah, I don't know, like
Chicken rice.
No, sometimes I realize what like sometimes the stories that you thought that is trivial in your head, right? But then when you put it out, people were like, oh, that happened in your community. Sometimes, okay, for example, things like on my first film, right? I did this story about this. I actually based on my late dad's personal experience. Like he lost his slippers after prayers, so he went back home barefoot. So when slippers do get lost, not only in Singapore, I mean in Mecca, see. So, but people don't talk about it because it's religion, and it happens in the house of God, right? So, but then I thought, you know what, this happens, and this happens in my life, my personal life. So I thought, I just want to put it out there. Somehow when that thing came out, it's like, wow, you did this, you know. So I think for me, yes, I come from a perspective where that happened to my dad, you know, and I couldn't keep this story. I mean, it happened to my dad, and so back to the point, you know, sometimes the most trivial stories, that's where people connect. I think that's where, yeah.
Type in store, no more curry chicken.
Ooh.
How dare you, auntie? You know, I can
Yeah,
this
so-
in my head. That's
yeah,
how it
exactly,
plays out.
exactly.
Like,
Then you can pen the camera and nasi padang store.
Exactly.
yeah, see that? Okay.
Come over here.
Multicultural. So for me, when I wanted to do like theatre and performance and all that, my family, there was a point where they reached when they were like, "Eee, you sure? Okay." And then I'm like, I want to go NAFA. Then they're like, no. You want to go JC? I'm like, nah. And then I want to know, what did the people around you think when you decided to like filmmaking it is?
I think for me, right, there's two. I mean, of course, from the perspective of the family, and of course your own professional network.
Yeah.
So for my family, right, they were like my parents, right. When they going to film school is totally different from engineering or some other things. Like, so they were like, okay, this is something new. The only film that they heard of is Tiramdi. But
course.
they don't know the process, you see. So they're like, okay, so yeah, you do whatever you like, and then just make sure that you can sustain yourself after that, and got monthly payment, got monthly salary and stuff and stuff. So I think, of course, the friends coming later lah. So what happened was that I think they only sort of like kind of really digested that this is my path in filmmaking only after when I'm like deep into TV making, TV production, and I got all the awards and stuff, and they actually see their name on the screen, you know, the Sanif, the Oleg, and then the rest of the family say, hey, is that the Sanif that, you know? So of course that sort of like a flex for my parents lah. So they're like, oh yeah, you know. So I think that sort of like you know, make them understand that, okay, this is TV production, this is film production. So I think after that it's sort of like easy for me, because and of course the awards all came in and so they were like, okay lah, this is a stable job in that sense lah, you know. So I think for the friends, right, I think when going back to the indie filmmaking thing again, I think I kind of have it easier in the sense because I have this idea, and then I think by then when I make my first film, I kind of you find your own tribe. You sort of like know who you can depend on and who are your best friends and stuff. You know, who have your back. So I think I tap on those friends to make the first film. Yeah. So that was my process.
Because for me, it's I got quite lucky because last born, but first to kind of like go away from what my family has been doing. Like my first three brothers, none of them like had higher education. So I guess on my end it's more of like, okay mom, if I go to NAFA, like I get diploma, can then so that's like the first step. So I kind of like had to balance like figuring out what I don't want to do first, which is like the engineering stuff, and then slowly like, okay, I kind of like this, and then okay, maybe the next step. So like the people around me, actually I kind of like kind of like distance myself from friends that kind of like didn't share the same mindset. Like they want to go for poly because it's easier, then I kind of like had to sacrifice that. But I like, okay, I really like doing this media stuff, which is weird because my whole like family background, none of them do arts, so it was a bit scary for my mom.
Right.
Yeah, and then also my second brother, my second brother like didn't graduate from NAFA, so she saw it as like, alamak, like, you know, I have another child going to NAFA. So that was like, okay mom, if I graduate from NAFA, at least like prove to you that okay, I can do this. Because for me at that time, like I had my friends to do the jackass stuff, right? But like that was just for them, is okay, yeah, that's it. Then they move on to other stuff. But at that time, I'm like, this is what I have. So it was scary for me to like even share, like, hey, I like to do video editing, I like to like film. So to like have like right now looking back, like I guess what the point I'm trying to say is I didn't think about the other people, that their reaction. It's more of I kind of like, I already take one foot in, I'm not gonna think about the other foot that's stuck in. I'm just gonna like focus. And that was very scary in a way. So it kind of ties into what you mentioned about being trapped just now. I see it as like trapped, yes, but I want to find a way to escape. Yeah, because if you weren't for like me making like Domino, like, like quitting from NYP, figuring it out, I wouldn't have like cross path with like Fahad, with you guys, with the guys behind the camera, that kind of stuff. So I think it's kind of forgot what we're trying to say, but
That this is what the people around you thought.
Yeah.
This is how your path played out.
yeah, I can't, like, I don't think about the people until it all happened, like, in a way. Now looking back, it's like there were some friends in secondary school that I met afterwards. I had a friend that went to our festival.
Oh.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in years lah. And then he was saying like, he had he's teaching at the school and has kids who are interested in film. So that's kind of like cool. But back then, like, oh my god, I didn't.
Full circle lah.
Yeah, full circle lah. But I felt bad because like, I didn't like go to the hangout. Or like, you guys were on poly, I was like in this school, that kind of stuff. But I think at the end of the day, it felt like it didn't matter as much because you should focus on like what you really wanna do.
I think the general consensus, like on the surface, people will think, oh no, they will be probably not accepting of it. But I think based on what I heard so far and on my own experience, it's been quite positive actually. The people around me, especially my family. I mean, they convey their support in the quiet ways probably when I get to put my equipments on the car, send me back, or if they're okay with me going back home at like 3 or 4 a.m. at night. Yeah, so I think just let me do what I want. But of course, after graduating, you always have to have like a full-time job, right? And so that was one challenge. But I think as long as I know that I could earn something every month and yet still do the things that are more creative, I think they just let me do whatever I want. Yeah, and I guess another thing is, when there's like family gatherings, like Chinese New Year or what, they will always pinpoint you and say, you go and take a picture. You go and take a picture. So I guess that's so positive.
We got professionals here. Since when am I working, man?
You got a good point, eh? Yeah, that's so fun.
Touch them. Voice after everything.
For me, it's like my parents were always like, because I think when I joined Mass Comm, they thought I was going to be a journalist, which is why they said yes in the first place. Because my sister went to like NUS to do like some media thing, and then she came out and sort of did journalism for a while. And then they thought, it's a viable path. I think they never like
Intellectual.
like academic shit, like writing and whatnot. Yeah, but then eventually when I came out and did video, they
Psych.
but by then too late, yeah. And I think I was also lucky to have like my circle of friends who also like to do videos. And just nice, like, this guy like to do music, this guy like to act, this guy like to write stuff. And then just nice, we all sort of complemented each other. Yeah, and then that started from there.
For me, animation arts, of course, there's the traditional mindset like, oh no, how can you do this and earn money? But I think that what helped me push through that threshold was when my parents told me, like, if you make a decision, like say for business and science, a safe one, will you be able to sleep? And then I realized I couldn't. I would keep thinking about animation as I do my crypto bro stuff or whatever. Then that really helped me get past that. In a way, also it shows that my parents are supportive of like what I want to do. So that threshold was easily passed. But then when it came to like community, when we frame it that way, I realize now that being in the professional sphere, the ones who are lucky enough to make it, a lot of them actually start to become a bit jaded about the whole industry, especially for the animation arts, because one big thing about Singapore also is a lot of the time the IPs come here, like big game companies, big movie companies, they bring their own intellectual property here and then we do their ideas. And it's not entirely a bad thing, but I realize a lot of us, we do this art because we are like fanboys or fangirls, we want to work on that IP, and then they find this satisfaction when they do their job, the whole ikigai thing. But I realized after like talking to a lot of people, after 6 years, after 10 years, they burn out because they've just been doing the same job, the same games. And I noticed that when I started to do film, then some people saw me doing that, like, hey, how do you find the time to do this? Oh, actually I want, but how do you have the time? They keep asking that. And then I realized it's like a lot of us, maybe we really don't have the time. We just like burn our midnight oil, we give up on some freelance just to do the story ideas. And I think that is what I see the community like reacting to. They all see this opportunity, they see someone taking a risk, and they also want to do, but they don't dare.
Yeah.
And I think in that sense, it's like a very good opportune ground for like collaboration, like some of you mentioned. So it's not so much abrasive in terms of getting into filmmaking. I think people actually want to do. The abrasion is more like micro, self-directed. The time, the energy after your 9 to 5.
Yeah. So there's sacrifice, and also, was there ever a moment that you decided that maybe this is not for me?
Okay, maybe I can say something like that. The reason why I'm doing games now, right, is kind of a jump ship. Because I'm not doing films or video on what I call my full-time job. But in the game development, I'm handling cinematics. I'm designing cinematics for the game. So I feel that I'm contributing what I experience in the industry into the game development lah. So the foundation, the experience that I even like the whole processes, we kind of use that currently. So I kind of jump ship, but not jump ship. I don't know.
Yeah, it still scratches that same itch to
Yeah.
create like visuals. And whatnot, right?
So it's I'm lucky lah to get that job. To be honest, when I joined the company, I joined as communications in the communication team to do videos for them, for the company. But then because I was working with the producer so closely, and then when they had this new job family and they're looking for people with cinematic eye, so like I really want to quit really at that point in time. Like I was doing video for the communication team, handling commercial videos outside, and I'm like, oh my god, too much. Then these guys are, hey, you want this but in British accent I'm just speaking in Malay accent. You want to join this?
You want to know to join this?
So like, okay, that's interesting. So okay, why not? You know, I give it a try. They give me 6-month contract. Then after that, interesting. I feel like I kind of jump ship, but that's where I miss filmmaking as well. So that's where we're doing this. You know, I realized that there's somehow I think that we can contribute something. I still want to put my leg in the video film industry here. So this is what we are doing. So I feel that that's the jump ship moment of my life, but I still feel that I'm still in there. Connected.
Regarding like personal sacrifice, I guess it's more of an internal sacrifice. Cause just a fun fact, I was dancing ballet since I was 7.
Wow.
And once I went into LaSalle for film, I think I was having a lot of fun. And in my second year, I felt like it was like the height of my education, because there were a lot of things that I was doing, a lot of things I was learning, and also a lot of time spent in school and on shoots that I felt very burnt out by even thinking about going to ballet lessons, which hurt me because it was something I've been doing since I was young, and it's something that I don't want to give up. But at that point of time, I felt like I was juggling too many things, and I didn't want to hate ballet. So in the end, I decided to just give it up for film. Yeah, but that was because there was a lot of adrenaline going on, and after I graduated, I was like, shit, what did I do that? I'm losing all the flexibility I had. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, that was the sacrifice I made.
Do you at any one point thought of like, oh, okay, maybe filmmaking not for me?
I feel like I will always enjoy filmmaking and the process of it, and it's something that I will continue to do. Provided I'm given the opportunity. Yeah.
Can I flip the table and ask a question? I'm curious about like, so when I was in school, one of that sort of sacrifice tangential they said is if you study art, it becomes like a homework and you might not like to do it anymore. And I realized that happened to quite a few of us. I don't know if it's the same for you all, if you do it as well.
Actually, to be honest, the reason to be honest, when I joined the game company, right, is because that was my last straw. Okay, to be honest, I don't know if it's luck or what, that you work with a lot of toxic people or toxic crew. But at the end of the day, when I go to become an in-house visual comms guy, right, it's a different experience. To me, it was like before I joined the visual comms, like, I was at the peak of like falling over it. I cannot this, because I became to hate making videos. But yeah, I was too damn exhausted, mentally exhausted. So I was like, that point of time so I feel like that actually true. I kind of feel like I'm about to give up.
Maybe if I may jump in also, it's like, because I think there's this one period where I was doing a lot of documentaries and magazine programs and all that. And you know how the nature of TV is, right? You basically need to make people look good. So when, as a producer and director, so I have to go down and meet these people in person and basically spend time with them and talk to them. So some of them actually, they are not really nice, but because it's your work to make them look good on TV, right? So I think that's I think there's this one time, or rather many times, where I face like, how can I be a hypocrite, right, as a filmmaker? And when all you want to do is to be authentic and here you are, this particular persons, you are supposed to portray them as showcase who they are in the community context. Okay, simple things like scheduling, like they never get back to you, and there's this hard, a lot of pushback. When you want to write something good about you, right, you need to at least just tell some details so that I can create a story around you. So I think at this point I was like, my God, so this is what TV is all about, all these fake people, and here we are trying to make them look good. So there's this point where I was like, what am I doing this for, and whether I'm misleading the community and the public, the TV watching people,
See, like everyone, the sacrifice is so chim, like integrity, a different path to not burn out, personal interest,
the
ballet.
money, the whole thing.
My one is
So
just
it's-
like
it's
cannot play games.
But in terms of the dropping out, to jump ship, I haven't experienced that yet. Because every time I feel like doing it, then I think like the alternative is to stare at spreadsheets and numbers and do boring business stuff. Then I always feel thankful to not be doing that. Because I'm also freelance, so like every time I get a chance, like I'm just at UT having Yakun at 3 p.m. Filled, man, like that's always like small things, like so it's like.
I think just very briefly, my sacrifice is really I was like secondary school saving up money for PC so I can play games. And then I got like a 4T series after I worked 1 year and 2 screens. And then now I use game engines to make movies. So I play games. So I have, that's all.
It's so funny, it just keeps pulling you back. Filmmaking just keeps pulling you back.
I don't know if that's counted as a sacrifice. I think it's like a good.
It's a circle, it's a circle.
Yeah.
Do you feel like sometimes you guys are competing more than you're collaborating in this industry? Wow, I see a lot of
Okay, let's talk. Okay, this question, right, can come from different perspective, but I think for me, there's this one perspective where going back to the idea of whether it's being competitive or not, right? I think as being Singaporean, there's always this chase to be the best, to be excellent, and all that, right? And I think at this point of time in 2026, right, we've come to a point where even as filmmakers, we were asked to, or rather we were compelled to compete with one another. Which film can go to Cannes or Berlin or Venice or TIFF or the Oscars, right? So I think it's sort of like water down the actual creation process and the artistic nature of what filmmaking is all about. I think filmmaking, as much as the rest of the arts, right, is all about expressing and conveying the voice of the community and about the society at that point of time, and that cannot be valued. I think even for me personally, right, like when I want to make a film now, it's like, okay, where is this film? How far can I push this film? Is it gonna go to Cannes? Because when I go to Cannes, and then the rest of Singaporeans will sort of like validate you. I think we've come to the point where, since the last time, I think it's like it takes our work to be validated by overseas people, and then we can say that, we've reached a certain stage. So I think in that nature, I think it's not really healthy, especially in the arts, because again, as I mentioned, the arts is not about being valued in that sense. I think it's all about expressing and being the voice of the community and all that. So I think Yeah.
Okay, I think we've gone astray a little bit, or not maybe astray. I feel like we need to pull it back.
Yeah, to pull it back and
Everybody
pull it back
needs to pull
and I
back
think
value
and also I think we need to, at least as a community as Singaporeans, we need to know that making films is not about which film go to get the the top 5 best international feature in the Oscars. It's not about that. It's about yeah.
Did you feel that way after your film got the Oscar now?
I kind of when Singapore picked my film for the Oscars, right? Of course, that's like kind of flex,
Yeah.
because of the history of the process of making that film.
Yeah.
Because I went through a lot of hardship,
Understand?
to put it nicely, to make that film. So I think when that film was picked, I think it was like, yes, not only for me but to the rest of the crew, the collaborative effort of the people working on it, and I think you sort of like, there's this idea where you find your true friends when you are in hardship,
Whoa,
right?
I agree.
So I felt that when that film was picked, it's sort of like, yes, I can tell my friends, this is our work, our work is finally get the recognition that we deserve, that people don't believe, this is, it's the Oscars. It's not like,
Yeah.
I mean, not to
No, I
belittle the
understand.
other
I
festivals, but
understand.
this is the Oscars. So I think coming from that process, right, of filmmaking, I think when we were given that honor, I think it was like, guys,
Yeah.
we did it. And I think for them it was like, yes, so our voice matter, our process matter, and we did a good job, at least at that level.
It's good to have a bit of both. There is the healthy competition that helps everyone get better, but then we noticed that like Sanif and Jake and Kim were all saying just now, there tends to be some cliques, especially like based on your school that you graduated from. NTU works with NTU, gets all their client shares together, LaSalle for LaSalle, but they don't tend to collaborate, intermingle. I think it's still a thing. So far working in industry, I see that happens. They share like lobangs here and there. Then that is like collaboration, but at the same time it's kind of like elitism, like
Yeah.
a bit
Selective
blatant.
collaboration,
So it's a bit weird in that sense. It's good because it does cause like different groups to compete, and everyone wants to make something better overall.
Yeah.
But I feel like the collaboration front could be a bit better.
Well, I guess competition is definitely there, and also competition for the collaborators is also there as well. Because I always can see like there are people who often work with that particular person, and they will continue to keep doing that.
Yeah.
And but what about for the rest of the rest of people in the circle? Who do they have to lean to for their own works to get out there? Yeah, so that's just what I see and feel that's happening. And I can't dictate whether it's a positive or negative kind of thing, but it is happening. Yeah, and I'm not sure how we can really push past that.
I think like when it comes to like on a very surface level, when I see like a film that's similar to mine, then I also like, hey,
Film similar to yours.
Yeah.
How?
I don't know though, but if somewhat within the same genre or something, then you can like, oh, okay, I got my eye on you kind of thing. But that's just like an ego thing. But yeah, like what you all said, I think it's so small, and I think it's important to know that there is enough for everyone to go around. There's enough pieces of the pie to go around.
Also, when I see someone's films like mine, I'm like, well, that looks like mine.
Yeah.
And then I try to assimilate them. I'm like, hey, you
Yeah.
want to work with me?
There's one way to go about doing that.
You can't beat them.
Yeah.
Want them to join you.
Then you have to become like one even stronger
Yeah.
one.
You buy them, right?
We buy them over.
Yeah, they're doing now.
Exactly.
To be honest, I don't pay attention. Like, I think like compared, like try to sum up lah, right? Like, when you guys talk about jump ship, I felt like I already jump ship. Then now I'm just like, hey, can I go back?
They don't pay about it.
Yeah, because it's, I don't know, maybe it's a good thing that I don't care so much about, because
Yeah.
I know it can be very stressful thinking about the next project and whatnot. But I think because I guess I see the whole thing as a learning process. Like I internalize everything, so I don't take it too hard in a way. Because I know, like, I always think like, okay, worst case scenario, best case scenario. Best case scenario, if I do the best film ever, which I have no idea what that is. Like, if let's say if I do it, what's gonna happen next? So I rather do like, okay, then do more in the future. Yeah, I kind of learn about it, but because I had to go through all the bad shit in a way, right? Being competitive, being like having my ego hurt also. So it's kind of like I think we all need to go through that also. So it doesn't matter so much about it's competitive. We will always be competitive. It's not just in Singapore, everywhere. Like if like we make different films, there's bound to be one similar to yours, right? If I go back to analogy of like let's say, since when Sham corners like food lah, there'll be so many nasi lemak. You know, sometimes whether that person really wants to make money or that person's really love making nasi lemak.
It's different.
It's very different. Yeah. But then I guess like then from the audience also it's like okay this one award-winning nasi lemak, but I like this one better. You know, sometimes it's not caring so much. You can care, but I feel like I'm at a point where like I won't get the best case scenario. I'm happy with it. As long as I know that I'm gonna do more and more. Yeah, I better not to have a deadline in a way. This is how we see it. And I think it's better to like go through all the bad shit. Like better to regret. I always stand by this. Like I feel it's better to regret the stuff that you've done than the stuff that you haven't done. So like right now I know I've collaborated with people I don't want to collaborate anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say that again. Say that
I
again.
don't know how to say how to say nicely. Okay, I will repeat. So going through meeting very
Just say it.
meeting shitty people made me appreciate the people who actually not so shitty now. You know?
Thank you. True. That's true right there. Yes.
So
Actually, to be honest, I do not know how to answer this because kind of jump shit and detach a bit really, right? But at least on my end, my observation, I mean, I'm not only like doing films on the side, I also play music on the underground local music scene. Sometimes I feel there should be a collaboration, but I don't know, sometimes is it just me or what, but I feel like almost the people that I meet in this, like when they want to achieve something, they always want to be better. They think that they are always better than the other person. Right? So hence happen these silos happen. So I think like for example the SG Independent here, the one I bet there are many others out there who want to do the same thing, right? But that's why I feel like what gonna make us, at least to me, my intention is I know that all of us are good. You know, we should be together and like stronger together lah in a way. So I feel that my experience as going out doing collaboration work, like making music videos or whatever, I feel like people just don't want to collaborate because it's two things. Either it's money, how much you gonna pay me. But I thought this is a collaboration effort. And then sometimes they want to collaborate, but with the thought of like everything settled already, I just need somebody to fill in that spot. So let's collaborate. But I thought I have some kind of discussion that we can have together so we can work together, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm kind of always like in a confused state. What is collaboration? You know, and end up it's like a competition. So I don't know. I feel like I'm still figuring out, to be honest. But I hope that we could. I mean, Singapore video, film, animation industry is already small as it is really. Having these silos is really gonna make even smaller, I presume. So I hope I answered that question, but I hope the collaboration effort that we have right now should have some kind of a common understanding at least, you know.
We can like connect what you say and what Sham say and our conversation at the start. I think why we all want to collaborate, but why we don't is because it's like they say if there's man there's war. Like and you're all direct stuff. There's a lot of directing is political, managing people. Some people don't like each other, and the bigger you have a group of people, the more likely conflict is to happen. And that's why I think we all want to collaborate, but we think this person is shitty, but then this person thinks we are shitty, then we cannot. So that's why we all have our little enclaves. Maybe that's good enough. Maybe some enclaves will join together and work together to make something good, but it's tough. I realized when you want to start a guild also that why it broke in the first place is because a lot of these like corporate identities don't like each other as well. So it's tough. People are
jumping on that also, like for the local music scene, at least the people that we play together with in the same shows or same stage, right? And also I realized that I also have chat with some other musicians and all. They also feel the same way because they feel that some of the musicians, or at least on the Asian context, right, they want to collab with the people who have more influence.
Yeah.
So they are just to leverage on that.
Yeah.
They can be. But I feel that shouldn't be the way. I mean, it is a way, but that shouldn't be the way. I think like. So sometimes I feel sad, you know, in a way, thinking about that. Like, it's not because of that, people like, hey, we want to do this together in a community, you know, like let's grow stronger together. But instead, they've been left out because you do not have the influence, you know, who are you? Nobody knows about you, you know, that kind of thing. So it's like, so it's competition.
Yeah.
I think it's quite apparent. I feel, yeah.
Hopefully there's something that can change, or you know, maybe in the future we can see evolve, where there are more conversations where that can happen for collaboration. Maybe we just need some time before we can all reach a certain level where we all have a common understanding of what collaboration really truly is. Okay, we're gonna end it here. I just want to say thank you so much everyone for like coming down, spending your time in this conversation, and I hope you enjoyed watching what we put up with you. Thank you, Shampana, one more time. Thank you, Shampana. Alright, to the next one. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Here from the Directors Roundtable, we are signing out. Thank you. Bye.